When you make sauces fresh, it gives you flavor that just doesn't last on shelf. Gives you control over the ingredients, and it gives you a way to show off at your next dinner party. It can take some time and effort, so today we're gonna figure out what ones are worth making and what ones you should just buy anyway. A huge thank you to Jayden for sponsoring today's video. Let's get saucy. So we're gonna make Sriracha, which I think is a great gateway ferment sauce to make. Only takes about 3 or 4 days of downtime or of it fermenting, and it's only a few ingredients. Red chilies, lots of them. We're just gonna roughly cut them up to a food processor. We're gonna add the sugar, salt, and garlic, and we're gonna blitz it into like a pulp. Put that into a glass jar, and you can either put one of these vapor locks on it or just a lid, then you burp it every day. Then you ferment that for 3 days. Then you pour that pulp into a blender along with the vinegar, and you blitz it till it's completely smooth. Into a saucepan over a medium-high heat until it reaches the right consistency. Into a sterile jar. It'll last for 2-3 months, no problem at all. All right, is it worth making Sriracha or should you just buy it? Let's have a taste. Homemade. For me, you absolutely should make that yourself. It's got a very similar flavor profile, but it just tastes fresher. That is probably because it is fresher. But it's delicious. And the best thing about this is you can make a whole batch when you've got a whole bunch of chilies that are cheap at the market, and then you can give it away to your mates and they'll all love you for it. You can also up the garlic if you want more garlic. You can ferment it for a bit longer if you want it a bit like more sour. You can really tweak it to your own flavor profile. Should you make your own Sriracha? Absolutely. It's a fantastic gateway into fermenting your own sauces. Now I have one friend who is absolutely committed to the stuff. Let's give him a call and see what he has to say. Should someone make their own gochujang at home?
No. By the time you spent all the money on ingredients, which you'd have to source as well, and then by the time you spent all the time to actually make the gochujang, it's gonna be, to get something that's comparable to the stuff from the shops, it's gonna take you a year. But then again, like even then it won't be exactly the same as the stuff in the shops. So any recipe that uses that gochujang from the shops, not gonna work with this gochujang because it's a completely different flavor.
Chimichurri. I can tell you right now, you should make your own because I think store-bought chimichurri is ridiculous. It should be fresh. And fresh, I mean 4.5 hours old. More on that later. It's super simple to make. All we're gonna do is take a bunch of flat leaf parsley. We're gonna roughly pick it, and then we're gonna run our knife through it chiffonade style. Then we're gonna take about half a red chili, de-seed it and finely dice it. We're gonna crush and finely dice 2 cloves of garlic. Then we just mix the parsley, chili, garlic, oregano, red wine vinegar and olive oil, season it with salt, bosh. Now I think chimichurri is best if it just hangs around for 2 or 3 hours before you eat it. Gives time for things to kind of marinate. The national sauce of Argentina is probably my favorite sauce to have with steak. Yeah, I think it definitely is. The earthiness and the sharpness from the chili, the parsley, and then the acidity from the vinegar cuts through steak really, really well. You should 100% make the sauce every time. There's no need to buy this. It's a few ingredients, doesn't take long to pull together, and the difference between store-bought, one that's sat on shelf for ages, is vast. It's a completely different product. Chimichurri, make it yourself. It's delicious. Here I'm using a pan from Jayden, the sponsor of today's video. It's cookware trusted by real chefs and also used by 1.4 million home cooks. What I love about Jayden's stainless clad is it's completely free of coatings and non-reactive, meaning 0 metals or chemicals leaching into your food, which really matters when you're cooking with acid like vinegar, citrus, and tomato. It's 5-ply stainless steel too, so you get even heating throughout. No hot spots to break your emulsion or scorch your reduction. It's the build quality and the details that make this pan great. The walls are curved and the rim is rolled so you can pour your finished sauce straight from the pan without spilling a drop. So go check out the stainless clad collection and Jayden's other cookware by using the link in my description to save on your order. Now let's get back to some sauciness. What is that noise? Oh, it's
That was great. That was like end of day.
I was like, oh my God. Next up, this is one of my favorite sauces of all time, not joking, but it's not one that I eat that often. XO sauce. It's like rich, umami, sweet, savory, salty, all those good things. Works really well with green beans, works really well over some noodles. It's a fantastic sauce to have around at home. I haven't made this recipe in, I reckon, at least 15 years. I thought I had it written down. I don't, so I'm kind of just vibing it. Let's see how it goes. To a bowl, dried scallops and dried shrimp. Cover with boiling water. Set that aside. Now, we have prosciutto. Seems weird. Trust me, it's not. There's a specific type of ham that you're supposed to use. Very hard to find. We're gonna finely dice it. Set that aside. 2 large banana shallots, also finely diced. Ginger and garlic, roughly chopped. Food processor. Add your bird dye chili and your ginger and garlic. Pulse. Oh, that's a spicy one. No, I just need a new lung. Now we blitz the shrimp and scallops. Woo! Look at that, looks like worms. Right, to cook, word of warning. This is gonna get nasally. Peanut oil, decent amount. Shallots and ham. Now we add our shrimp and scallops. Now we're gonna add the chili, ginger, and garlic. It's a bit spicy in here, so I had to turn the extraction on. I'm gonna add the sugar. Oh my gosh. Soy sauce, oyster sauce, fish sauce, and chicken stock. Now it's at a really nice jammy consistency. It's good to go. XO sauce. Should you make it or should you just buy it? Let's taste some and find out. Chunkier bits too. One's definitely spicier, far more chili in there, but I think it's definitely more delicious. Not by much though, honestly. XO sauce is really known for the flavor that you get from the dried scallops and the dried shrimp, and that's clearly coming through in this one. It's absolutely delicious. However, it's a massive pain to make. It's a lot of ingredients, and it's not a sauce that I eat very often. It's quite an acquired taste. Some of your family members might not like it. Honestly, just go buy a good quality one. I'll save that for later. If I was to make my own fish sauce at home, how would I go about doing that?
Depends. A little, like how much of your BS is your family willing to put up with? Because as soon as you open that up, everyone's gonna notice and your house is gonna smell like it for the next day or two. So you gotta air everything out.
Ranch dressing. Invented in the 50s by a plumber in the United States, obviously. Not really that well known outside the States, but probably becoming more and more. And I guess it's best known for with buffalo wings. Actually really simple to pull together. We got mayonnaise, sour cream, buttermilk, onion powder, and dried parsley. 1 clove of garlic, juice of a lemon, and then it wouldn't be ranch without dill and chives. Give it a mix. All right, ranch dressing, should you make it or should you just buy it? I feel like there might be some heated debate in the comment section around this one. So I feel like it's one of those dressings that people like, especially in the US, just have their brand that they absolutely love. Let's start with this. Not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of that. Very, like sweeter than I was expecting, and quite acidic. And acidic in a way like, you know, like a sweet pickle acidic. Let's try the homemade. Much better. You should definitely make that. It's really not that hard to make. You should probably have most of the ingredients in your fridge already, and it tastes 10 times better. Make your own ranch. Stop buying it. I won't throw it. Another reason to make your own sauce is that you can make things that you're never going to find on a shelf anyway. We're making toroi, which is a mussel and often watercress, sometimes puha sauce that's served alongside hangi quite often. I was only introduced to the sauce recently, and this is like probably the most traditional classic way of doing it, I think. I have heard that there is ways to kind of riff on it, so we might play with that in the future. But first up, we've got some mussels that we've just steamed, and we've kept the liquid as well. Then all we're going to do is we're going to blanch our watercress and then cool it down in ice water quickly. We're going to roughly chop our watercress, and we're going to pick our mussels and chop those, place them into a clean preserving jar, and cover them with the mussel juice with a little bit of salt in there. It's that easy. So there you go. Mix that up, put it into a preserving jar, and people would let that pickle. They'd just kind of let that ferment and pickle. And traditionally, that was all that they would do. However, I think it's pretty common these days to add a little bit of chili and some garlic. And then if this is a sauce that you wanted to eat now, you could add a little bit of vinegar just to get that kind of acidic, pickly flavor that you get. So there you go. Moldy taroi. Watercress, mussels, a little bit of salt. Delicious. Would work great alongside a hangi if you're ever cooking one of those, or fantastic on rice, even on eggs for breakfast. Delicious. Definitely can't buy that in a store, so you're gonna have to make it for yourself. Tartare sauce, the classic fish and chip accompaniment, but ironically it's actually French. It was served traditionally with French, like crumbed and roasted meat, often fish. I guess it works very well with fish and chips, so that's how that ended up there. Very simple to pull together. All we need is a finely diced shallot, finely cut capers, finely cut cornichons, the zest and juice of a lemon, and some finely cut dill. Then we just mix that through a whole egg mayonnaise. Job done. All right, tartare sauce. Should you buy it or should you make it? I reckoned I can tell right now that you should probably make it. The thing that I don't like about this is with the bottle that they've got, if anything can fit through that, it's no good. You want the chunky bits. It's quite sweet and quite one-directional. One-directional, just like the musicianal group. And the homemade, It's so much different. It's properly balanced, it's nice and chunky. There's no question in my mind. 100% make your own tartare sauce. I don't know if you know this, but when you read the ingredients, the first ones are the ones that have the most volume in it. So here, the first 3 ingredients, vegetable oil, understandable, it's mayonnaise based, water, okay, bulk it out, get that bank. Sugar is the 3rd ingredient, insane. All right, so I think the first video I saw of yours, maybe might be one of the first ones, but it was you making oyster sauce. So tell me about that process.
It's actually a lot simpler than it seems. It's just salt, koji, and oysters and a bit of water, and then some thyme. It's actually not that dangerous at all.
Well, fascinating. So gochujang, don't bother making at home. Fish sauce, don't bother making at home. Oyster sauce, maybe make at home if you're feeling ambitious.
Yes, because like a little bit, like you don't have to have a big operation, like just a little bottle like this will go a long way because it is so strong.
Ponzu, Japanese dipping sauce, very citrus forward, soy sauce based, kelp, really, really delicious, really great for tempura, great to have over rice, lots of great uses. Pretty much anywhere you'd use soy sauce and you want a bit more of a citrusy kick, you can use ponzu. Super easy to make. We're gonna take some mirin, which is like a Japanese rice wine, quite sweet. Just gonna pour it into a little saucepan and we're gonna simmer it for like 2 minutes to get rid of the alcohol. After that's boiled for a minute, I'm gonna take it off the heat, add the rice vinegar, the soy sauce, the lemon juice, lime juice, the kombu, the bonito flakes, put it in a jar, leave it there overnight to steep. So this has been in my fridge overnight. Actually, it's been in my fridge for a few days. Overnight will work, a few days it'll just get stronger. All we're gonna do is pass off the bonito and the kombu. Ponzu, should you buy it or should you make it? First caveat, as you saw, I use lemon and lime juice, and that's because uzu juice is kind of hard to find. Sometimes you can find it in the pre-squeezed bottles, but the fresh fruit in Australia, you can only get like one time, well, you know, very infrequently here. Because traditional ponzu is made with uzu, not with lemon and lime. Let's taste the store-bought stuff first. Not bad at all. Uzu is a citrus fruit, has a slightly different flavor between lemon and lime, and it's quite distinctive. Homemade. Also delicious. Should you buy it or should you make it? It's kind of 50-50 in my mind. If you like it and you can get your hands on some uzu, absolutely, make it yourself. It's not very hard to make. It'll last for months in the fridge, no problem at all. But there's lots of really good store-bought ones that you can buy pretty commonly as well that will have uzu juice in it and will last just as long. If I came to your house for dinner and you served me store-bought ponzu, I wouldn't be upset with you. I'd kiss you. On the lips. Teriyaki sauce. You honestly can't get easier than this sauce. Soy sauce, mirin, sake, and not always, but optionally, a little bit of honey. On the heat, just to let that honey dissolve, and you've made teriyaki sauce. So teriyaki sauce comes from Japan, the 17th century. Teri, meaning shine or glaze. Yaki, meaning grill. It's a glaze for grilled meat. Pretty simple. Apply this to anything you want, really. Glaze it on as you're grilling it, or like in my teriyaki pork recipe, or ginger and spring onions in the bottom of the pan, cook your meat, and then deglaze with the sauce, reduce it down till it becomes nice and sticky. Job done. Should you buy it, or should you make it? I think you know the answer, but let's do it anyway. Pretty good. Tastes like sweet soy sauce with a little bit of acidity and dryness from the sake in there too. What does mine taste like? Pretty much the same. I think it has a nice sweetness, maybe a little bit more than that store-bought one, but I think that's the beautiful thing about doing it yourself. Because the good thing about making it yourself is that all you need to do is to buy soy sauce, which you probably have anyway, some sake and some mirin, which you probably have anyway, and you can make it. If you buy a teriyaki sauce, you've only got one sauce, whereas if you buy the other 3, you can kind of, you know, arrange them in whatever way you want. Teriyaki sauce, make it yourself. There's nothing wrong with the store-bought stuff, but it's really, really easy to make. All right, relish. This takes me back to when I first started cooking in like the early 2000s in cafes in New Zealand. We always had these big tubs of relish, and it's really not that hard to make. So I'll show you how I like to make it. First of all, got some tomatoes that are nice and ripe. So it's a great way to use up tomatoes that aren't so perfect. If you get like a box of seconds tomatoes or whatever, we're just gonna dice these up reasonably small. I'm gonna add that to a pot with a little bit of water, along with some garlic crushed and finely diced, 1 brown onion finely diced, a whole dried chili, some brown sugar, some apple cider vinegar, and a little bit of soy sauce. Pinch of salt, and we're just gonna stew this down for about 35 to 40 minutes until we're at this type of consistency here. You want it to be kind of saucy with a few little lumps in there, almost a jammy consistency. If you put that in a sterile jar and you put a lid on it like you would a preserve, and then you boil it, this will last at room temperature for months, no problem at all, or in the fridge even longer. But let's have a taste. some store-bought tomato relish. Not bad, very different texture. It's a lot jammier, a lot more viscosic, as opposed to being quite chunky. But the flavor profile is honestly not that bad. That's just a very different proposition. You can actually taste tomatoes in there. I think a better texture, and you've got the ability to season this however you want. Should you buy relish or make it yourself? I think if you've got tomatoes in season going off, you should absolutely make relish for yourself. If you're in the middle of winter and you're trying to make a sandwich and you want some relish, there's nothing wrong with buying some store-bought stuff. Homemade's always better, but in this instance, if you're in a pickle, go buy the pickle. So should you make your own sauces at home? Yeah, you should. Now, some of them are far more difficult than others. They might take a long time and they might actually be more expensive than just buying the product itself. But like Johnny said, there's something fascinating about understanding food history, understanding where your food comes from, and understanding how it's made.
I think it's just, for me, it's always been just about curiosity. I see something and I'm like, I wonder if I could just make that myself.
And if that stuff interests you, then knock yourself out. Go make yourself some fish sauce. But like Johnny said, be careful because your neighbors might not like you afterwards. A huge thank you again to Maiden for sponsoring today's video. Couldn't do it without sponsors, so thank you very much. Like this video if you've taken anything from it. Subscribe if you're not, and go subscribe to Johnny if you're not as well. He's linked below. We'll see you next week for another video. Peace.